very nice game came out a couple of months ago now. Game I really like. It's called Mortal Kombat X, and when it came out, I liked the gameplay of it. It was awesome. The gameplay of it. Let's make that part clear. Since then, the game has been patched some number of times, and it's also added a couple of characters, one of whom is Tanya.
Yes.
Character we talked about before as being very different from the rest of the cast.
Right.
Probably the best, but also just super different. Like the best in ways that like nobody else does, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But the way that it's showed up is that she was half of top 8 at CEO.
In fact, she was like top 5, wasn't she?
She was 3 out of the top 4.
4 for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the winner did not use her, but the rest of the top 4 did.
Yeah. Because the interesting thing, I saw Vi tweet, because he was doing a Halo tournament this weekend. He was helping stream a Halo tournament this weekend. But he tweeted out, like, I heard about Tanya, what makes her so good? And the way I described it to him was she controls the air like no other MK character can, and she's not any weaker on the ground.
Right.
And that's the problem right there. Like, if they just made her ground game like crap, so she had to be in the air, I think that would make more sense.
It would.
But the ground game is too
you can
strong.
go either way on that. Yeah, so...
well, I just mean that it's cool that she's different than everyone else.
Sure.
I'd rather have that be the highlight than the ground
totally
game.
Get it.
Yeah. So,
look, it sucks that VIA has to ask that. And this is no rag on VIA at all. That's the situation where a player who played the crap out of the game the first month it came out, and then maybe hasn't in the past week and a half, no longer has any idea what's going on in the game. Alioun made a post about that too, where he was like, look, I haven't played MK in maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, what's going on? Like, what happened? So you can go from being like totally on top of it and coming out with cool tech and playing online all the time and blah blah blah, and then it's a different game like 2 weeks later.
Dude, so you mentioned 801 Strider played the game and then they nerfed. So he used Hellfire Scorpion and then they nerfed Scorpion, and so he's like, whatever, done with the game.
A lot of people said that, yeah. But that is an important example, I think, because it could be the case. Maybe I should even talk in the past tense. Could have been the case that MKX would pick up a lot of new tournament players. Like casual fans, of course, MK always gets that. But and so that's been a big part of why the viewership has been so high. But it could have also had a gigantically bigger tournament scene.
Yeah.
And it sort of did for a little while. But now, if you haven't played the crap out of it in the past 2 weeks, you don't know what's going on. And furthermore, even if you did, 2 days before the biggest major of the year so far, maybe your character got neutered. Maybe that was the case for some people. And so that it's not easy to keep playing when you know that there's that chance, unless you are already a dedicated player and you're just going to play regardless. It's hard to be a multi-game player or a new MKX NRS game player and still stick with it, because you have to stick with it to such a degree that it's hard to keep up relatively to other games.
Right. And we even had a conversation with hardcore NRS players who are like, dude, because you asked the question, so what other characters are you learning just in case your character gets nerfed? Because that's like part of the meta game now. You gotta learn multiple characters. And the guy's response is like, if they nerf my character, I'm just gonna stop playing. And that's how bad it's gotten to this point, you know what I mean? Where it's just like even the people who are dedicated to your game are going to stop playing if you screw up their character, you know what I mean? So they got to fix something here.
It's too late.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, at this point they can maintain. They can like maintain the current level of players.
Right.
But I really think that it's too late for them to be that gigantic game, tournament speaking, that they could have been. Yeah. I think that ship has sailed.
Well, the one good news about the whole entire thing is that all the people who own the game on PC don't have to experience any of this because they can't play it.
It's so frustrating because the game is so good.
Yeah,
it's so good. So good. I wanna play it all the time and I wanna be all bullish about it, but you just can't.
Right.
You just can't. And the thing is that is entirely of their doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, they didn't learn about the overpatching business or the online play business or having a good PC patch, even though in the past those have been problems.
Right.
And people have identified them as problems, and they did it anyway, again.
Yeah.
So that's their bad. I mean, they even to the point where the second DLC character that comes out causes major problems, where like that happened in Injustice when Scorpion came out. And I think people probably overreacted, but again, they did the same sort of thing where like a character comes out that plays totally differently from the rest of the cast, and causes people to freak out. So it's like just the level of it's the same that they allowed to happen is bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I was a fighting game creator at this point in time, and I had the plan of releasing DLC characters little by little, especially if I was NRS and I knew I was going to patch the hell out of this game as it keeps coming out, right? Err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
Make the DLC characters, make it so that you would more risk that they suck than they would dominate. Right, so don't make them super good. Try to make them as good as you can. But if something seems a little overpowered, don't make it work, because then they can suck for a while, and then you can make them better. I mean, look at Shinnok, right? Shinnok got top 8 at this event. When he first came out, he was terrible. Right, and so they buffed him up a little bit. It's a good way to do it.
Sure.
But now you have this Tanya come out, because I mean, look, what happened with Injustice? Evo. Right? Punch, punch, breath. Punch, punch, breath. And then everyone was like, Injustice is boring.
Right.
Then Injustice became super interesting.
Right.
Some
they
super hype matches.
Yeah.
Super hype matches, whatever. Too late. Everyone says it's boring. Right? And so now a lot of people's first exposure to this game at CEO is the audience counting how many teleports there were in the Tanya mirror. You know, and that's what it came down to. And so now a lot of people are just going to think MKX is this boring game with Tanya teleporting everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Even if she gets nerfed, it's going to be too late. You know.
Yeah. Jason says it's the same thing as in League, where they used to release some overpowered new champion, and it was like to get you to buy it, right? Because super good right now. Pick it up, right? Marketing strategy. I believe, like, I find that credible that League would do that.
Right.
But I'm not sure I find that credible that NRS would do that. I feel like, I forget what the name of whatever dude's razor, where he says that you can't attribute to malice that which you can better attribute to stupidity. I forget the name of the guy. But, yeah, that's my real talk thought on it.
Okay, there you go.
That's not Occam's razor.
Yeah, that's a different one. Yeah. Oh man, dude's razor. Yeah.
Whatever it is. Hanlon's. There you go.
Hanlon's razor. Okay.
Anyway, the game is awesome, and I'm sad because I see people even in the chat saying, I skipped MKX, and I'm glad that I did, because like, you guys missed out on a really
fun
great game. Yeah.
But then at the same time, we can't even say they made a wrong decision.
Right.
You know?
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like there are too many other issues that they have caused. So on Testermite now is a thread about whether Tanya should be banned at Evo.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And some people's argument is exactly what you were just saying. They remember what happened with Injustice. They don't want it to happen again. They don't want...
Interesting.
They don't want...
It's actually more like a scene protection kind of thing.
Right.
That's kind of the reason why a lot of people wanted to ban the Giants in TVC.
Right, there you go.
Right? It was a similar situation, and sure enough, the Giants looked super boring when they played TVC at EVO, right? So, I mean, it happened. So.
Yeah. No, it's... I mean... I think that's silly because, first off, chances that the game isn't patched before Evo, 0. But even on top of that, it's a really unfortunate situation to be in, and I would rather not patch them, rather not ban her, because I would just rather let the game play out. But it's one of those situations where it's like damned if you do and if you don't. Where if you let it rock and it ends up being that Tanya dominates and people find it boring, then that totally sucks.
Right.
But if you ban her, then that also totally sucks because now everybody knows that. It's like not a secret that you banned Tanya. They know that you banned her because she's as she is.
The nice thing about it is, like someone in chat mentioned, the 4 people who made top 8 using Tanya might have made top 8 anyway.
Oh,
because
dude.
They're all super good, right?
They all definitely would have been like top 12.
Right, exactly.
Least,
so
top
it's
8.
not like you're nerfing those players,
no.
Right? Another thing, too, I mean, some people mentioned that it's funny that Sonic Fox is crying about Tanya online. And to me, honestly, I actually give him a lot of credit for, I mean, I don't take it as whining because he used that character and he made top 8 with that character. He's good at that character. So it's not like he's just using other characters getting blown up by Tanya and saying we should ban Tanya. I mean, he's banning a weapon that he used himself. Right. So I don't see it as much as whining, more as just kind of like, this is kind of dumb and boring, you know? So.
Yeah. Well, I think he said he likes playing her. But,
okay.
Yeah, and personally, I think that she is fun.
Yeah,
I feel like I would rather have Tanya mirrors than like Superman mirrors.
Yeah,
she's way more interesting. She's at least kinetic and moving around.
Right,
and,
exactly.
You know,
exactly.
so I feel like she's not. Personally, I don't think that it's boring. I feel like the people who find it boring are already the MK fans. Like I feel like a Marvel fan might watch her and be like, oh, pretty cool, actually.
Right,
But
to be honest with you, I think the problem isn't Tanya. The problem is Tanya mirrors, because then it's just everywhere, right? When it's not Tanya mirrors, then it becomes interesting because the other character really has to be aware of where she goes and all these things like that. So, yeah. And none of them use Naginata, which still blows my mind.
Somebody did. I talked with Godspeed about it, and he said that there was somebody using Naginata really well.
Okay.
So it's not nobody.
Because I think that she's like, I think Naginata's ridiculous, but I don't know.
The first time I saw Sonic Fox playing her, it was with Naginata.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I actually didn't like Pyromancer that much because the fireball you blocked it and then they can run up and punish you, but apparently it pushes them back a little further, so it's definitely better now. Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know what they're going to end up doing about the Tanya ban. I don't know what they're going to end up doing about patching, but I assume something will come.
Evo is putting a foot down right now, which is really interesting. I've never seen anything. I've never seen Evo have to do something like this. But they've actually declared that whatever version of the game is on July 8th, that is the final version. If a patch comes out afterwards, they are ignoring it. The consoles that they are using, they are not going to update it. You're playing on whatever version. And that's pretty damning, right? I mean, because if you think about it, like, if you're NRS and you have this patch that you want to release right before Evo, it's kind of screwed, because then all the people who are connected are going to disconnect because they don't want to update it before they play Evo. And you just put everybody in a really awkward situation. So, it's really, really frustrating that this even has to be a situation. You know what I mean?
It sucks.
Yeah. Which means, I mean, obviously the Predator patch is coming out. If the Predator patch comes out between July 8th and Evo, and it comes with all these character balance changes.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
So it makes it harder on all the players, because it's not just the people who are sort of on the margins where they would like to play the game, but they're not like, it's not like they have to,
Right.
But it also makes it hard on the people who feel like they have to play the game, who are like dedicated players. That's how I was talking with Slayer, very top level player in Mortal Kombat X, big threat to win. Yes, he has a real good chance at Evo, right? So he said on Twitter today, you know what? I'm dropping my other characters. I'm just gonna play Shaolin Kung Jin. He's gonna drop Bojutsu. He's gonna drop Tempest Kung Lao. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, and he said he thinks that variation's better than Bojutsu.
Interesting. Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
But I was like, why would you roll the dice when it comes to patching? Because if you're playing one character, you are rolling dice. And there's a lot of money at Evo, and that's not, you shouldn't do that. Because it's not just a question of like, is Kung Jin going to get nerfed? Maybe.
Right.
But on top of that, the question is, will some other character get buffed that will make it hard for Kung Jin? Right. Like, definitely now Shinnok beats characters that he didn't at the start. So, and that's unpredictable. Like, it's easier to pick to predict the nerfs, I feel, and the buffs, although some of the nerfs are also unpredictable, but like probably like Kano's not going to get nerfed, you know, probably like Kodokan's not going to get nerfed, but you don't know if some other character will get buffed in a way that will make it a very hard matchup for those characters. And so if you don't make sure to have a couple of potential characters that you're keeping up for like Evo quality, then you're gambling.
Well, I mean, here's the interesting thing. At this point, it might be a good idea to use very, very unpopular characters and get good at them. Because they just haven't, they've only buffed those characters. The ones that people don't play they always buff them, whether they deserve it or not. You know what I mean? It's like I said last week, I feel like that their buff nerfing strategy is largely based on the quantity that's played online, their win percentages, maybe the percentage of times a certain move connects or something like that. Because I'm sure they're recording all of these stats, right? And so if you have a character that's good but nobody knows, like maybe, which Kung Jin is he using? Shaolin. So it might be one of those situations. If you don't see a lot of Shaolin Kung Jins, it might actually be a good strategy to play that character.
That makes sense. But at the same time, again, you just can't count on that one character because maybe that character will all of a sudden get countered by some newly buffed character in a way that you just can't expect.
Right, of course.
So the gameplay is so fun, folks. I love it. I love it. And everything else about it is just so frustrating.
Well, I mean, we did hint at this a little early as well. Predator, there's been some leaked footage online of him being played. I guess he's in one of the towers. So I think he can play against the computer or something like that. But I heard like they were actually taking down some YouTube footage of Predator or something like that. I'm not sure. But did you see any of the Predator footage?
I did.
What did you think?
I thought his gameplay looked very interesting.
Oh, you think so, huh?
Yeah. The one vid that I saw, he sort of looked like Lex a little bit, where like he puts stuff out
on
the screen,
yeah.
And he puts a little trap down, and you can knock the opponent in there and extend combos and stuff. So he looks sort of trap zonery in that variation. I believe that was Hunter, and that was the only one I saw.
Yeah, I just don't like the way he looks. I don't know. He just looked really weird. His stance is really weird. His head looks really big, and he has like Katana's low 3. Like his low 3 looks really badly animated.
The little
it was literally like you pose them in a crouching position, need to make them kick, rotate leg. You know, I mean that's basically what it was. I don't know. Visually, I wasn't impressed with the way that he looked.
It's that RS, man.
Yeah, but I mean you're right. As soon as I saw that move that he tossed up into the sky and then it like attacked later. Yeah, I mean there was definitely some interesting gameplay elements there, but I couldn't get over the way he looked. Like, I wanted to play Katana. I wanted to try her. I really did. But then I just saw the way she stood, and I was just like, I can't use this character. This is the problem when you actually care about aesthetics. It
is a problem. And no, you shouldn't laugh that off, because they are giving up potential players.
Yeah, that's true.
They know that they'll sell well regardless, but they give up some potential players. So.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it's funny because I've had so many because everyone knows you love MKX, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people think I even hate the game.
Yeah, right. It's just bizarre.
So a lot of people, everyone knows you love it because you commentate it, you do all this stuff. I have a lot of people who come up to me and they're always like, "What do you think about this game?" And I'm like, "I really like this game." And they're like, "Really?" Like they're surprised, and it's frustrating because like I want to tell them like you should go play this game. It's super fun, but then it's just so hard because it's like I don't know how to convince them because NRS is making it that hard. I want this game to succeed.
Agreed.
I even said before it came out, this game, that game, and Smash Wii U 4 have like the potential to dethrone Street Fighter.
They did.
Like the entire franchise, they could be the next big thing.
Yeah.
And they dropped the ball on that. So.
They totally dropped the ball.
Yeah.
They'll continue to be. Mm-hmm. It's not like MK will die at all.
But,
but it will not be that big thing that it could have been.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So. Sigh. Let's sigh.
Yeah, I see this phrase all in chat all over. It's just the word frustrating keeps coming up on the stream chat, and it's true. That's exactly what it is.
It's not. Look, I don't think that it could have dethroned SF as a franchise, but in the tournament sense. But I do think that in the U.S. it could have been bigger than Ultra. At
Yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah.
At the end of Ultra's life.
Yeah. I mean, it was for a while.
It started out like that.
It was always the last game that was on the streams for a long time.
It started that way.
Yeah, and then it just couldn't even keep it going. So, yeah, I mean, it could have taken over Street Fighter, especially if Street Fighter V was bad. But right now, things are looking good for Street Fighter V. So,
Yeah.
So, you know, probably wouldn't have been able to maintain it. But even if everything went right for NRS, but it would have been nice to have a game not Street Fighter that is also getting a ton of people playing and is big like Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Right? And then Smash Brothers still has that problem. A lot of fighting game players can't take it seriously. You know what I mean? It's just I want more than just Street Fighter to be the big game. You know, I want them all to be important. I was hoping Guilty Gear could be that for the Arxis games, and it's just not happening, right? So, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna stop here.
Okay. Well, can we? What else are we gonna talk about here? What else do we got?
Let's see. What else do we got here?
Some SF5 stuff?
Yeah, so Comic-Con next month, they're having a panel there dedicated exclusively to Street Fighter V. Now, we knew that Street Fighter V was going to be at E3, right? Like maybe 2 weeks before it was at E3, right? But we don't know anything about this panel. Like, we legit know nothing about this panel. So, you know, I'm hoping that they're going to announce new characters and do all sorts of things like that. I think that's super cool. I think that's really cool.
Totally agree. Yeah, looking forward to that.
And then also, apparently, you know, we tried asking Combo Fiend for what the story on Nash was. And he was like, I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
And apparently, you know, Udon is doing a graphic novel that's going to cover that topic.
Sick.
So definitely check that out. So
that's cool. I really like that idea. It's all, you know, MK also did that. That would be so cool to have more often. Right. It's a really cool addition.
So real quick, we did forget to talk about God's Garden 10.
Indeed.
Right. So there's some results over there.
So down.
So what's that?
Down.
Oh, that's the entry list.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so there we go. So Blaze Blue. So this was a tournament that was in Japan. God's Garden, obviously, very well-known group there that organized tournaments. In fact, when they were going to do the Evo Japan, they were supposed to team up with God's Garden, but then, you know, just stuff happened in any case. But the results for Blaze Blue Chrono Phantasma Extend, Koike and Yasuda tied for 7th, first using Lychee. Koike was using Lychee, and Valkenhayn for Yasuda. Conan got 5th place with Ragna. And also 5th place was Galileo.
Hey.
Yeah, with Lychee, of course. 4th place was Kogatan with Ragna. 3rd place was Kinji with Taukaka. 2nd place was BETSB Dora Bang, using Bang, of course. And 1st place was Ocha Chin with Izayoi.
Interesting.
So there you go. Some good stuff there. I remember reading about this for Guilty Gear, that some people were surprised that the winner was not who they were expecting it to be.
That's right. I did hear about this.
But 7th place was Efute with May and Fino with Venom. 5th place was FAB with Potemkin, and Issa with Elfelt. 4th place was, is that TS? No, it's T5M7 Tomo with Leo Whitefang. 3rd place was Ogawa.
How about
Zato 1.
3rd place.
There you go. A lot of people surprised by that because they just thought Ogawa was going to take it. Right?
Yeah. Interesting.
2nd place was Ein with Kai Kisk. And the 1st place was Summit with Chip.
Really?
Chip.
Is Chip really good like that?
I guess.
I don't know.
I mean, they're all pretty good, and I know at 1.1 they're. I mean, like, right now the big deal, obviously in the U.S., is the whole Leo White thing is like brain dead joke, which isn't even true because like as good as he is, he's still not nearly as good as other previous Guilty Gear best characters have been. You know.
Is he the best though? Is that what people are saying?
I don't know if he's necessarily the best, but I guess he just has the simplest game plan or something like that. So. You know, there's a whole crazy meme that's going on in that whole community with Leo and stuff.
I have heard about it.
Yes, exactly. So, Yeah, so that was God's Garden. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. The qualifiers, so Summit and OCHA qualify for Arc Revolution Cup.
Right.
Which, by the way, is having a little bit of a, I guess it's Axis that's having a little bit of controversy right now. I don't know if you heard about this.
I did.
Well. So apparently they wanted to make sure that whoever wins can go to Japan.
Right.
So they put a rule in there that you have to have a U.S. passport or you can't enter.
Thinking that that's how you get from being in America to Japan.
Right. One of the players, a.k.a. Mr. Marlin Pie, is not a U.S. citizen. So
he's a Japanese citizen,
yeah, he's the Japanese citizen.
Yeah.
So he's here, and
like
he doesn't
he's been
have,
here for a long time.
Yeah, he doesn't have a passport,
Yeah.
so he can't enter. Because that's just the rule that they put in. Even though he can go to Japan.
Like he can travel.
Yeah,
it's cool.
He can go to Japan anytime he wants because that's where he's a citizen. But so I don't know if they're going to make an exception for them. Hopefully they do.
Hopefully they do.
Hopefully they do.
You know, they put a tweet out that said that there's legal reasons why they cannot allow him.
Right.
And I can't think of any why that would be the case. I don't know why that would be the case, legally speaking.
Right.
Other than if they have some agreement with some third party, some sponsor or something like that, that had it in their contract that it had to be a U.S. citizen for whatever reason. Maybe it still could have been the same reasoning, like we have to make sure that they can get from U.S. to Japan. But if there's a contract, you know, you want to live up to the letter of it. I don't know.
I mean, I like the ruling only just because, yes, you don't want people going there and gatekeeping. You know, I don't have a passport, but I'm just going to go and beat everyone and spoil everyone's fun, right? Totally understand.
Totally.
But, I mean, like, in this kind of situation, I think they can make an exception for Marlin Pie.
I hope that they do.
I hope that they do, so. But, yeah. Another thing that we did want to talk about, Super Arcade.
Yeah, right. We didn't get to talk about this at all, right? I think that whole thing happened after. So there was a public hearing for Super Arcade. So more backstory than that. Super Arcade, an arcade in Southern California that became very integral to the Southern California scene over the past couple of years. It was where Wednesday Night Fights was held.
The Run Back.
They had
Smash Sundays.
I was just gonna say, that's right, and assorted other events. Run by Mike Watson, a longtime fighting game community member, formerly one of the best players at Street Fighter 2 and Alpha and stuff.
Everything was streamed by Mondo,
right?
Who's like super
big streamer. That's right.
Big West Coast streamer.
That's right. Even for a while, it was official Level Up. Frank was there, and Alex Valle was always there running the tournaments and all that stuff. So it was a very big part of the Southern California scene. And it was really good for the players to level up and for awareness and streams and commentary practice and all sorts of stuff. They had to leave their previous location due to, it's all public info, due to the fact that the landlord raised the rent super high.
After they did the Kickstarter to save the arcade, to get a bunch of money to renovate, they renovated, and then the landlord was like, haha, now I can strong-arm you because you spent all this money, let me raise your rent.
So like an unsustainable level.
And then Watson was just pretty much like, like calling his bluff basically, and was like, I'm out of here, right? So he took off. So he's been trying to find another location to open up.
So he's been working on that, and he thought he found a spot in Azusa, California. Not that far actually away from where Super Arcade previously was, but in a different city. So there was a public hearing to see whether he could get the permit to do so. That's very common in city councils.
Yes.
You don't always need an open hearing for it, but
it was because if so basically a bunch of people, businesses in the plaza around the area get to vote on it. If everyone agrees, let's just open, everything's good. One person reneged, basically complained.
Exactly.
And so they had to have a hearing for it, and that's when this happened.
That's when this happened. So at that public hearing, which I haven't seen because frustration levels would be off the charts, but I've heard all about it. Basically, people were there trying to support Super Arcade, but the council didn't allow the permit at that time. For silly reasons, like that they didn't want extra thugs to come in, and they were worried about security and people peeing on the walls. And
because there's only one bathroom, obviously, so people can't hold it and they'll pee on the walls. Not that doesn't happen at bars and stuff like that.
Right. And there's like thinly veiled and sort of historical crap going on about racism and sort of class warfare things, and how in the 80s and arcades were a problem with youth culture, but like just in general that was the case, and arcades got the bad rap, and since then crime has dropped dramatically everywhere in the U.S. and arcades are no exception, but it's whatever, right? So anyway, so they didn't get this permit at this public hearing. Today, Watson said he had a meeting with somebody to talk about it further. It was a private meeting. I don't know how it went, but in the meantime, a lot of people have been writing petitions and talking about what we can do to help Super Arcade get that spot. There is a Twitter account that the city of Azusa runs that a lot of people tweeted to.
Including myself.
Yeah, right.
I wrote like 20 tweets to them. So.
Right. So it's great that some people have written nice tweets to them. A lot of people made the wrong call and were jerks to them. Yeah. Which is exactly the opposite of what has to happen, because the point here is to convince them that we're not jerks.
Right.
It's entirely the point.
Yes.
So acting like jerks to them is only going to hurt the cause. I feel bad that I wasn't there. Yeah. I just, maybe I knew about it at some point and forgot. I just don't remember even knowing about it. Right. But that's my bad. I wish that I had gone and tried. And I don't know if I could have done anything, but I just feel bad that I didn't try.
I mean, the worst thing about it was it sounded like the people who were against it had already made up their mind, and they were just going to come up with every excuse under the sun. I mean, the thing about it is that they're talking about how it would make the area worse. And let's face it, dude. I mean, what is that principle called? Like with abandoned buildings, it's just like eventually ends up with cracked glass or whatever, just because they're abandoned buildings, right? See, they would prefer having an abandoned building there than an arcade that's going to drive up business for everything around there.
I mean, Super Arcade brought a lot of business to the local businesses in the previous strip mall. I remember going to Lolly Cup. I love that place. Yeah. That place is really good. We went to that Chinese place all the time. Yeah. Went to Jack in the Box all the time.
Dude, when we go to Lolly Cup, the workers there would be like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, because they just recognized everybody because you saw them every week, right? So, dude, that Lolly Cup made so much money off of us.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They did. And so could other businesses if this were granted. So the question is, what do we do about it? I love the idea of the petitions. I think that's nice. When there's another public hearing, which will be right before EVO, unfortunately, anybody who's not going to be at EVO really needs to go and act professionally and
show and tell the stories about why we're a family. Like, I mean, I hate to be exploitative, but I mean, I think the Pusha T story is a great story to tell them.
I don't think that's. I wouldn't call it exploitative.
You don't think so? Okay,
I don't think I don't think that's the right word for that.
Okay, I just don't want to take advantage of someone's tragedy, but it's a great story to show how much it mattered. Like, he became a commentator for KI. People started to really like him. He became a personality. And then when he collapsed, it was on stream. And it left such an impact that we raised over $10,000 for this guy from people around the world. People who never met this guy. And that's the kind of thing that Super Arcade created. It's a great family kind of situation. I've helped a lot of people there. They've helped me in a lot of things. So, I mean, these are just all important things to be told. I really wish I could go there, but it's literally the Wednesday before EVO.
I already have my plane and hotel lodgings all set, and everything's set. I can't back out now, so I'm already not going to be there. But you're right. That's the kind of thing that has to be told. I worked in local politics for a little while after school. During school too. Anyway, and that's basically the kind of stuff that they're looking for. The arguments about, it wouldn't be very helpful to come in with like some whole grand socioeconomic argument. I don't think. Much more helpful would be community stuff and sort of.
We will drive up the business. We will actually.
I mean, that's something that has to be said, but I think more important is the heartstring stuff. For sure. Because I feel like that's how the way to get people out of their BS, ancient misconceptions about whatever it is.
Video game players.
But not even just that, just in general, is is to make them feel like they have some connection with it, and like plausibly possible connection with it.
Okay.
And so that's what I want. That's what I would like people to do. Like tell your stories. Or you know, if you show up there, show up not necessarily professionally. Like I don't think you need to be in suit and tie. You need to be in what these people would consider like, oh, like my son would show up in that, or like my daughter would show up in that. You know, they need to have like this connection, sort of like beat into their minds. Right. Because it's not going to happen otherwise. And I'm not saying it'll happen at all, but like that, I feel like that's the best
And there was one person there apparently who was really cool on the council. The vote was 3-1, and obviously the one guy was the guy who voted for letting Super Arcade. He's now referred to as Tan Shirt Hero, pretty much. So, but I mean, he apparently was the only one that really understood that all the stuff that they were spewing was just archaic and outdated and stuff. So
and somebody says emotional stuff like that is the weakest kind of argument. That's true if we're like having an actual debate where people are intelligent and open to discussion. Super rare. Super rare. That's why if you pay attention to politics, that's why so many arguments are emotional, because like that's what works on the normal people. I'm not trying to like talk down. That works on me. I'm just a human. You know what I mean? Like I get that too. We're not in some like official. It's not like Robert's Rules of Order debate is happening. Okay, that's not what politics is. It's totally not that at all. It's much more about emotional. And if you can connect economic stories to emotional stories, then economic stories can really open up too. I mean, they're important regardless, and that stuff has to be told regardless. But in order to like really get people in there, I really feel like you have to tie it to emotion. So.
Yeah, makes sense. So.
Yeah,
it's a really unfortunate situation. Hope that, God, you know, the other worst thing about it too is all these hearings. In order for me to make these hearings, I'd have to take days off of work too, and I can't do that right now. So
it's a really unfortunate time. It really is. So anyway, if you'd like to write something, I would be happy to edit whatever it is. You know, you can send me an email at david@ultradavid.com. That's my actual email address.
Or you can even just do ultrachentv@gmail.com.
Also totally fine. And I'll try to take a look and get back to you and stuff. And I mean, I'm not very helpful when it comes to the legal side of city council. I never worked in that. I don't really know that very well. But, you know, I'll talk with Watson about, see if there's anything that we can do about that, legally speaking, if he needs any help.
Okay. Anything more you wanted to say about the Super Arcade situation?
I don't think so. Anything you wanted to say?
There's one more thing I want to talk about game news wise.
Yeah.
Which was Yatagarasu.
Right.
Of course, is coming out. I think it's the 7th.
Yeah.
So a week from today is coming out. So, yeah, definitely check that out. I think they're, it's supposed to come out next week. So that'll be really cool. I know a lot of people have been waiting for it. I mean, I haven't played much of the betas. And that's nothing against the game. I just don't play betas a lot of the times. Like, one of my friends at work was like, "Did you try the Final Fantasy 15 beta?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "But you own a PlayStation 4." And I was like, I'm just not super interested in betas, I guess, sometimes.
I hear you, yeah.
And my friend was like, "No wonder you're not, like, super interested in going to E3 all the time."
Right.
Because, when we were at E3, we didn't play anything. We just walked around,
That's
right?
true.
Street Fighter 5 was the only thing we played.
That's true, yeah.
The only thing we wanted to play was, like, some of that VR stuff, if we were willing to wait in line for, like, 10 hours.
We stood in the line at one point to try to get that, and then this lady came over and she was like, "Do you have an appointment?" And we were like, "No." And she was like, "No dice."
Yeah, it's like,
we could have come back the next day.
It's like, we're gonna open it up at like 5:30, which is like half an hour before they kick everyone out of the hall. So it just wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So Well, it demo, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So not a beta for FF15. The demo. And demos, betas. I just generally don't play a lot of those things. So Oh man. But dude, I really want to try some of that VR stuff. I just want to see how it feels. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just want to see how it works.
Totally. I'm really looking forward to that stuff. 2 HoloLenses were going to go up to the International Space Station on the SpaceX flight that blew up you hear about this?
No.
Yeah, they were launching a rocket up to the International Space Station, right? And with a bunch of experiments and so forth.
Right.
A couple of the things that were going up there were HoloLenses. They were going to do some augmented reality stuff up in space. I don't know. I just think that's cool. It's like space and augmented reality.
Well, I mean, I can't imagine how useful it would be for them to be able to turn any surface into like a computer screen kind of thing for them, right? So, but wait, it blew up?
It like didn't launch correctly or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know, what they were trying to do is send it up, right? And like the rocket booster.
Oh, you told me about this.
Is supposed to. Historically, what happens is that you send the rocket up with the booster on it, and the booster falls off, and it just falls off, and like goes into the ocean, and nobody hears from it again, and it's like really expensive.
Do they
hanging out at the bottom?
So wait, they never actually retrieve those things, huh? They just let them drop in the ocean and that's it?
I mean, sometimes they have, but I'm not an expert in that. I don't want to come up as an expert in that, but I don't really know. But definitely the plan now is to try to get it to land back down on this barge.
That's ridiculous.
Like in the sea.
Right. That's like the Roomba, like going back and charging itself again when it's done vacuuming. That's crazy. Dude.
Yeah, it kind of is like that. It's rocket science. I just think that's pretty sick. Like, it's a cool idea. Rocket landing itself. Anyway.
Because you also imagine dropping one of those things in the ocean is just so not good for the environment.
It's probably not,
right?
Yeah.
It's all this oil and fuel just like spills everywhere and stuff like that. So, oh man.
Yeah. Anything else to?
Coming out soon is the Tower Wars in Splatoon.
Yes, I was just about to bring it up.
Okay.
Excellent. Did you watch the little video?
No, I haven't.
We had a stream today.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't get to see it because remember I can't watch streams at work, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So what it is there's a tower that starts out in the middle of the stage. It's on a little platform, and if you stand on that platform, it raises up and it starts to move towards the enemy's base while you're standing on it.
Right.
And if
it moves towards the enemy's base. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if you ever get off of it, after a short period of time, it starts moving back towards the middle.
Okay.
So it's this battle, obviously, to like see who can stand on that moving platform the longest.
Right. Yeah, and then...
It sounds cool.
Yeah. So basically, one person has to be the sitting duck sitting there, while the three guys have to go and try to support them.
Yeah, I think that's their game plan, but I feel like I'm just going to put down a splash wall.
Well, see, the platform was kind of small.
Yeah.
And the splash wall, you do have to toss
right,
a little
so
bit,
here's my question. There's a square platform, imagine it's this thing, and in the middle of it is this little doohickey that stands up right in the middle. So if I'm standing on the edge of it, can I shoot it at this little doohickey, and will it just like, yoink and like stay on here? Will it like be on here? And I can just like go to the other side. Now I'm like all protected.
Right. Well, you can stand in it probably.
You can stand in it too. You're right. You're right.
The only problem is you won't be able to get your ink back over there because the edges look like grates. It didn't look like you could paint the edges. You only paint the very middle of it.
I see.
So
I see.
Because I think Bubbler will also be really good.
Bubbler would be good, sure.
Although people could shoot you off because
that's
you
true,
do get
actually,
pushed pretty far off that thing. So. Yeah, and then I'm so angry because they're going to do the Splatfest this weekend. So they canceled the original Splatfest, and they're doing it this weekend on July 4th.
July 4th.
Yeah, but you know what? Someone actually said that's actually super smart of them if they're going to test server bandwidth.
Oh, it is actually.
Because then everyone won't be able to play. So
that's
in a weird, tricky way, they can limit it a little bit. So,
James, I have an uncomfortable question for you.
Okay.
Be on Team Cat or Team Dog?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the fact that I own cats, I had to be on Team Cat.
But you were always a dog guy.
When I was growing up, because I was allergic to cats. Yeah, I was always a dog person, and I love dogs still. I still love dogs, but as a cat owner, I had to go Team Cat, so... I know.
Team Dog, buddy.
Of course.
Team Dog.
I wouldn't have expected anything else, so...
Yeah, take that. There's no... Oh, there is a cat face, that's right.
Yeah, there's two of them.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I had to do the cats, unfortunately, so... of course, everyone always asks, you're allergic to cats and you have cats? So,
right.
I mean, basically, even before... I mean, it's probably easy for everyone to tell I get stressed out a lot, right? So long before I had cats, at one point in my life... almost every night, just because of how stressed out I was, I would break out in hives.
Really?
Just
Wow.
randomly break out in hives. So I had to take. So I went to my allergist, and they just prescribed me allergy pills. So I've been taking allergy pills every
really?
single day of my life for a long time, right? It's part of the old man pills I always eat during lunch, right? So, and then eventually when I got cats, I switched to a different allergy pill, but I still just take it all the time, and
Wow.
they just work. So
Sick.
I never have to worry about it. But I had been taking them every day anyway.
Okay.
So
Oh, I guess that's nice in a way.
Yeah, exactly. So.
It's not that I hate cats. I did hate cats. But actually, what's the reason I don't hate cats anymore is because of your cats.
Right.
Because all of my previous cat experiences were just standoffish. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't get why anybody would want to hang out around a cat, because like cats never hung out.
Right.
The ones that I knew
Yeah,
would just like leave.
Yeah.
They just like come. They would eat and like take a crap and
Right.
then like leave.
Yeah.
And I was like, why?
Uh-huh.
Why are you spending money on this animal? I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I don't understand the upkeep at all.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Now I see that not all cats are jerks.
Yeah. I mean, what Kelly basically said was that Burmese are like the dogs of cats. That they get really attached to the person. So
Isn't that funny though? That like the positive attributes of those cats are that they're like dogs.
Right. Exactly.
Just get a dog. God.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, right now cats are much more advantageous. Because, like, for example, if I leave a weekend, I can actually leave the cats by themselves for 3 days, right? If I leave the dog by himself for 3 days, my home will be destroyed.
Yeah, it's a different story.
Yeah, you have to find the keeper and all this stuff like that. I still feel bad leaving my cats by themselves for 3 days.
I mean, you have people to come and check up.
Yeah, I mean, when I can. But, like, this weekend that's coming up, I'm planning to travel, and no one I know is around to take care of the cats right now, so I may just have to leave them in the home for 3 days. But I'll figure that out.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm no longer opposed to cats anyway, in conclusion, but I'll still be on Team Dogs.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wasn't expecting anything. So, trust me, it was a really hard decision for me.
I bet.
Like, I was just like, and then my cats like came up and looked at me and was like, all right, Team Cat.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, and cats, you don't have to wash them. They clean themselves. They're self-cleaning pets.
That is pretty cool.
They're self-cleaning pets. I never have to worry about my cats being dirty.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I like dogs that are like investigatory and like want to get dirty.
Oh
and they want to
yeah, of course,
check things out. You know, like I don't want some like lap dog.
Yeah, for sure.
My ideal kind of dog is a dog that is small enough to be on my lap and not kill me,
right?
But big enough to like tussle around with. Not like be worried about breaking, and like go on cool little walks and explore.
Some people say that dogs have personality, cats just sit there. Having owned these two cats, oh my god, like their personalities could not be more different. Like I swear sometimes I have two little kids in my home because of the way that they act. Like Nathan, the white cat that I have, right? He totally knows the stuff that he's not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, he'll go into stuff that he's not supposed to do, and all I do is stand up in the chair and walk up to him, and he's like, oh, crap, I've been caught. And he just, like, runs. Like, I don't even have to make any threatening noises or anything, It's just like...
Yeah, dogs do that, too.
Yeah, it's just... I mean, the cats ended up with way more personality than I ever thought that they would have, so... Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, game news, exactly.
Yeah, man. Game. Hey, the game is Splatoon. Yes. It's not. Are we listed as fighting game news?
No, just gaming
talk show.
That's right.
That's right.
So there you go.
Shout outs to Splatoon.
Exactly. So, but Splatoon is dude, I'm still obsessed with it. I haven't played it recently though because we've been at CEO and stuff like that. But I need to get back on that Splatoon train. Currently level 20.
You're the best.
I've got my clothing how I like it, and
you're the best.
And I'm C+ on ranked. It's hard to level up on ranked.
I haven't played ranked yet. I have not played ranked at all.
Because if you are on a bad team, because every time you win, you gain 15 points. Every time you lose 10 points. So if you just get put on a really crappy team, you're just like done.
There's no like individual points aspect to it.
Lose. There's like not even like like, because even in Turf War, when you lose, you still kind of win because you gain the points, right? The rank, you still get those points.
Okay.
But your rank just like dies. So
I should really try it. I should really try it out.
It's way more kinetic. It's fun. But one of the cool things about it that I know you'll like is that the space control aspect of it actually starts to get stronger because one zone in particular is more important than the rest of the zones.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's there, so the choke points become even more choke points. The control spots become even more control spots. Like the snipers actually become super good in this mode because you know where they're trying to go.
Right.
So as a sniper, you can chill in one spot, waiting there, and count on them to show up. Whereas in Turf War, you can sit there and watch one spot, and they go paint everything else, and you've just completely wasted your time, right? So it's actually kind of interesting in that way, and it's also a lot more kinetic. It gets my adrenaline going a lot more because everyone's just fighting all the time. So, but then it also opens up. Oh, my favorite, just like sneak attacks. Like, because there's like on the you know the one with the big giant square on the north that everyone always tries to get, right? Yes. The bluefin. No, that's a different one. It's the salt rig spray. I think it is that one, right? So what always happens is it's not the big square. It's the little section right in front of the big square that you need to control.
Okay. Yeah.
So what happens every time is that both teams immediately run forward, go up the walls, go jump in or come in from the front or whatever like that, and they start trying to shoot from the top or stuff like that. My favorite thing to do on the stage is start and then immediately veer to the side while my teammates go towards the center. Because then I come around the back because always there's a sniper sitting there at the top.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, actually.
So I'll go up behind them, and then they're just sitting there aiming, and then I just kill them. It's like the best.
Yeah, I think I know exactly the area you're talking about.
Yeah, so I always cut across and try to sabotage them from the other side. You get a lot more sneak attacks because areas aren't as important. You know what I mean? So you can kind of hide around certain things like that. So, yeah.
There should be little names for all the little places. Maybe there are. Maybe forums online have named spots.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like the crate zone or whatever, or the elevator zone where the little elevators are or whatever.
Yeah, but hopefully with amusing names.
Right. Oh, right. With really good names. Thanks.
Yeah, hopefully better than you just did.
Thanks. So thanks for watching for UltraChenTV.
That's cool, man. We'll just play Hanlon's Razor on it. Yeah, I think that is about it. Mm-hmm. So, as you said, Yadagarasu's coming out soon. We're going to have Mondo on to talk about it. I'd really like to get also Steve to talk about KI Season 2.
Yeah, Sajam, right? Yeah. And also, me and Henry still need to finish Guilty Gear. I think we're trying to do that this Thursday. So I think we're going to try to close out the rest of the characters on Thursday. So, yeah. Skullgirls is coming out on... Second Encore, is it coming out on PS4 soon?
Oh.
I didn't see any news on that. Oh, maybe it is. I guess we're totally screwing over Skullgirls. Sorry.
That's funny, because I keep, really close tabs on that, but I guess I forgot.
Second Encore on PS4, July 7th launch is what they're saying.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, sorry about that.
Highly recommend checking it out. I mean,
absolutely.
We had Mikey Z himself come onto the show and talk all about it. Yeah. And if you have any interest in it, definitely take a look.
Another game with the most fascinating character design.
Yeah, seriously. Very, very interesting characters designed by a really smart guy and team. And even if you're not super thrilled about it, I still recommend checking that video out because you might like a lot more than you expect.
Yeah, I mean the way that I always describe why I like to give Mike so much credit for that game is that he's a grappler player. He hates zoning characters. He hates Dalsum characters.
Yeah.
And then he made Peacock,
right? Which
is the most evil zoning character in the world. So
it's very cool that he can do that.
Yeah, that it's cool that he's willing to do that. And just, make a really strong game as opposed to, it's the Grappler City, baby, kind of thing. So, yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I guess that is about it.
Yep.
Cool.
So, like I said, keep an eye on UltraChenTV Twitter and my Twitter as well. And I'll let you know if me and Choi Sauce do the Guilty Gear thing on Thursday. So,
That's at jchensor?
Yes, at jchensor. So.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Thanks a lot. See you next time.